we'll see how quickly we can draw attention to ourselves. Just posted live. How quickly we can draw attention to ourselves. Just posted live. How quickly we can draw attention to ourselves. Oh my God, that's terrible. Hi, Stephen Law. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thank you. Hi, Caleb, Joel. Precious is here. Good afternoon. How's the pond going? Richie Rich, hello. I am planning to start getting labels out today. My stickers mailed out. I need to do a cover letter. That's as soon as I can get that done, we'll start sending them out. I'm going to send 2 or 3, I guess 3 to each person who asks for one. Muddy. Oh, your pond, I'm sure. Well, it'll clear up. The weather is nice. It's a little chilly. It's probably 60, but it's a bright sunny day. A little bit of wind. We've got about a 10-mile-an-hour breeze. It's a good day to get out and work. I'm just not of a mind to get out and work. Oh dear. Fisher and Fever, like the like button. And you've been sick. How are you doing? How are you feeling? You know, you need to get over all this stuff quickly. Hi, Justin. Somebody's calling me stinking hot and humid. Father Fish. Yeah, I'm here. I'm open. I'll be here until 5. You bet. People trying to get in here. It's helpful. I haven't had many people in here all week. New Zealand, hot and humid. Pond and more, congrats. Thank you, sir. Fisher and Favor is not dead yet. Yeah, well, we all remain vertical until we're not. So there's always hope, I guess. HC Aqua, hello. Pond and more, Jesse is saying hi, Jesse. So here's the deal. I need 50 more hours to hit 4,000 hours. I've been doing 60 to 100 hours on these live broadcasts. So my thesis is that this broadcast will put me over the top at 4,000. I'm at 1,025 subscribers. So I should be getting my letter from YouTube about monetization probably tomorrow, maybe by the end of the day today. So that's kind of exciting. Oh, won't even take a few pond. This one will do it. If we get I usually get 100 to 200 people viewing it after it's completed. So if we get 25 to 50 people in here now, and then another 25 or so afterwards, I'll be there. Plus, I've got other stuff up. I've got a video coming up right now. I did a little walkthrough of the fish room, showing some of the fish, and that'll be posted pretty much, well, probably while we're doing this, it should post. We'll see. YouTube's slow to update. I've heard there, well, yeah, it's like overnight or something. Um, going to be an after party. That sounds like fun. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that. It's like, okay, this is a hurdle, but I've already got my eye on the next one. So and once I've achieved something, I don't really think about it anymore. I just move on to the next goal. And my next goal is to not a number, but to see if I can get the curve going up, because so far it's been going like this straight across the page. I'm not seeing much incline. I'm hoping that by being monetized, it will change the way I'm promoted on YouTube, and I'll actually begin reaching more people. I've done this with a total a total reach population of, I think, 3,000 people. So not that many people have seen my channel. If I can get to the point where 30,000 people see my channel, I've been picking up 25%. So I'm at close to 4,000 people have viewed the channel, 1,000 have subscribed. If I can keep those numbers, which I don't know what the reality is, that would be pretty exciting. So, Alice, hi. Richie Rich, your sand is changing color. Is that normal? Um, what I would suggest is you add a little more sand to it. It's not necessarily abnormal. It could be growing organic material on it, causing it to change color. Bacteria could do that. Little microscopic animals could do that. Algae could do that. Um, you want to make sure, though, that the dirt is not uh, percolating through the sand. And the best way to ensure that is to add a little more sand. Add a half an inch to an inch, whatever you can tolerate, and see if that doesn't help. Fish room fever has precisely the same advice. Absolutely. Yeah. If there's a problem with a deep sand bed, add another inch of sand. You got egg, add another inch of sand. Fish dying, add another inch of sand. That's my cure all. Add another inch of sand. Somebody said something about pancakes. I got to back up here. Bubba was showing me past 4,000 2 days before the counter caught up. So, yeah, I don't know. Um, I noticed that I lost 80 subscribers. Finally found that number of people who had unsubscribed or dropped off right around 1,000. 80 had unsubscribed or dropped off. So I thought that was an interesting figure. Don't know really what that pertains to. And my hunch is it happened in part during that period where YouTube was knocking people off for subscribing and not being active or something. Yeah, see, I think that like 3 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, they seem to update the hours. Hi, Carl. Who else is here? Alice had a question. Should I make pancakes or do a water change. Make pancakes. You can always do a water change, but you can't always make pancakes. No, can you? Under other circumstances, that might not be true. No, but you should definitely make pancakes, Alice. Oh, Kaylor, hello. Carrie, hello. Fisher and Fever says, if the sand is coming out of the top of the tank, add another inch of sand. Now that's just silly. That's just really silly. If the sand is coming out of the top of the tank, you need to add water, not sand. Seem to have no water in my what? In my tank. Who's being a fool here? What is this? Carry nature. Seem to have no water in my tank. Any advice? Well, yeah, grow plants, emergent and paramecium. You also grow a lot of bacteria. That not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Let's see if I can do this without jumping around. Fisher and Fever, why do you stream when it's in the middle of the night here? Oh, Alice K. talking to Fisher and Fever. Yeah, I've noticed that. He's saying he's sorry, but that's what he does. He's a night owl. Cody-san, hello. Nice to see you. Justin Tillins was wondering how long the Tannins from Miracle grew. Oh, dear God in heaven. How long do the Tannins from Miracle Grow last? Well, you mean Miracle Grow soil or Miracle Grow fertilizer? There should not be tannins in fertilizer. If there are tannins coming from the soil and you're capping it, you need more cap. If you're not capping it, the tannins will last probably as long as the soil lasts. It'll eventually clear up, but it'll take a very long time. Don't know that I understand the question. However, if you would like to rephrase it, I'll be happy to try again. Let's go to some Precious. Jumped around. Have you checked out that tag section of your videos? I noticed I have where I tagged all the types of goldfish. It reached more people. Well, I just added another 50. I pulled all of Lucas's tabs and pasted them onto mine. I think I did that with somebody else. Can't remember who. I've got over 100 tabs. Um, I don't think there's any limit, but I think there's more to it than that. I think you also have to have the the uh, the tab duplicated in the title or description in order for it to pop up. So I haven't started paying attention to that yet. But yeah, goldfish are a good one. I really need to do more with goldfish as well. Appreciate what you're doing. I had a good goldfish supplier and lost him. I've got another one who's not so good. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do yet. There may be some. Alice is telling somebody to not be silly. It's hard to know who. There's a lot of silliness going on here. Fish room tried. What? I don't know. Fish room fever and I are making the same. I noticed that, Carrie. I noticed that. Carrie Nature. What no, Sam? Okay, here's the challenge. Next time you're out in nature, take a bucket and dig out a bucket of sand from whatever river, creek, pond, or dry bed you're around, and bring that back and try it in your tank. There are a lot of different colors of sand and kinds of sand. Most of it is silica. Not all of it is. Um, but I think we need more variety in sand. And I've not been able to get out yet to do that. So I challenge myself as well. Kaylor is driving and working. Where are we? How are the birds doing? We have two baby parrotlets that are being hand fed, and they will be here next week. Will be maybe by Sunday. I just talked to the bird lady, and she suggested that they're starting to eat uh, seed and are starting to perch on her finger. So I'm hoping by next week we'll be able to show them off. They're really cute. It's one blue one and one green one. So those two birds are doing great. Everybody else is fine. Um, would you still dirt a planted nano saying 2 gallons? Yes, I would. Um, but you only need to do a thin layer, like maybe half an inch, even a quarter of an inch, just enough to be able to provide some additional nutrition. Now, keep in mind the purpose of the dirt is to kickstart the system. In a good active biological system, that dirt gets renewed and replaced about every 6 months. So what you're putting in is startup. Think of it that way. I add a few more elements to it, some of which are more long lasting, particularly for iron, to be able to have a good iron dosage going in over an extended period of time. But yeah, do it like a quarter to a half an inch, and then 1.5 inch to 2 inches of sand, and that should cover you. Should be okay. It was Carl. The video just came out. Good. I haven't seen the note on it yet. Alex Hay talking about lovebirds. Have I seen you do underwater koi video? Fish fun. No, I'll go look at it. That's exciting. Let's see. Let me do this. Let me get you. It wants me to add you as a moderator. Well, let's see. I can do that. What I want to do is get to your channel though. Then back up and stay where I am. Alice K, I think someone recommended me to get lovebirds, but they're noisy. Yes, they are. And I tell you, I frankly think that the parrotlets are a better bird. Lovebirds are not nearly as tameable. They don't really bond. They're not a parrot. Um, they're not a finch either, but they're not a parrot. They're more like a parakeet or more like a parakeet. More like they're not a parakeet, but they're not a parrot in that they don't bond nearly as well. I really recommend if you want a small bird that you can play with, either a cockatiel. Um, the only problem with a cockatiel is, given an open window or door, they will be gone forever. They have a flight pattern that involves going up on a 45-degree angle, leveling off at 300 feet, and heading for the hills. They come down miles later and they are gone. So if you're going to do a cockatiel, you want to keep them clipped. or they won't be around once you make a mistake. Let's see. Miracle Grove soil has wood in it. So this is soil. Well, it's probably a mulch. Probably does have soil in it. Could have leaves in it. Could be any kind of mulch. And any kind of soil is going to stain the water. That's one of the reasons for capping it with sand. The other is to keep the nutrients out of the water, keep them in the substrate where the plants can take advantage of them, and keep them out of the water, which will control algae growth. How's that rationale? Frank White's talking about not using Miracle Grow in a dirted aquarium. The recommendation is to use a soil that does not contain fertilizer, like an organic soil or an organic compost, peat moss, any of those kinds of things. And the reason for that is that the fertilizer really is an overkill, and it can burn the roots. It can create that black root condition that that occurs in a new dirted tank. That will, by the way, if you've run into that, or your roots are turning black, that'll clear up in fairly short order. It's not a permanent condition. Put another inch of sand in and plant shallow, and you'll be able to overcome it. Precious, more goldfish. I'd love to get some goldfish. I want to get some fancies and see if I can just really get them going. Justin, I'll have to cap it for recently converted your mulch bed to a deep sand bed to see the difference. 4 inches of Miracle Grow organic soil with 3 inches of sand. Justin, I think that'll be fine. I don't think it'll be a problem at all. Wellstead does recommend a sand cap. So, that's not something unheard of for her. Want to hear something neat, Carrie Nature says. I heard the sound of a hummingbird tweeting, slowed down. That's interesting. We're going to have to, we've got to Google that. Somebody Google it, bring it up. By the way, is there anybody here who would like to be a monitor who is not now? I'll be happy to hook a few more people up. Precious and Alice are doing a yeoman's job, and Kaler, but I'm sure, and Fisher and Favor. Who else? That's it, I think. But they, I'm sure, would like a little more help. Carrie Nature uses organic mineral grow, Miracle Grow. I was looking at that the other day, and it was not clear to me whether it said organic. I didn't know whether I should trust it, so I didn't at the time. But I thought that might be a good product. Miracle Grow organic potting soil. Oh, Frank's gonna mind. Let's get Frank up. Very good. Thank you, Frank. Rohan, yeah. What is yeah, Rohan? Is that yeah, you want to be a monitor? Because guess what? You are. I'm playing monitor roulette here. Punchy Paints is here. Hello, Punchy. How's the weather out there? Never mind. I really don't want to know. Let's see. Carl says hi to Punchy. Are we at the bottom? I think we're at the bottom. Home Depot for window tinting for the Ark. What in the world, Kaylor? Doobie doo. I did miss some stuff. Sorry. Let me back up here. Caleb says to Justin, you need more sand capping that much soil. Most tanks need only an inch or less of soil. That's absolutely right. I rarely do more. I don't recommend more than an inch of soil. Granite rock with red spots after being submerged for a year or so. It's not red algae. Interesting. Alice, I'm fine. Thank you. Jack and Dan wanted to say hi. Way to go. Right behind you. Have an awesome day. Nice to see you. Jack and Dan. Stuck with the tenant until the woody soil stops staining. Um, yeah, I think, Justin, you need to cap it. If the tannin bothers you, now there's nothing wrong with tannins in the water. That's what black water is. Black water is water with tannins. So if you want to put fish in that like tannins, then you're ahead of the game. Oh, let's see. I'm back to the hummingbird. So I think I'm now caught up, except for what's happened since then. Carl Meyer, thank you, sir. Moam, I've heard the sealing tanks last about 10 years. You have tanks that last much longer. Do you have to reseal? No. If the tank remains established, then it probably is not ever going to leak. If it's broken down, dries out, refilled, change in pressure, change in environment, eventually that seal will give way. With the old tar sealed tanks, uh, once the tank sat dry after it had been set up, once it sat dry for a month or more, it had to be resealed. And resealing those suckers was nothing simple. Let me walk you through this. Henry Hall, I watched him reseal uh, a a tar tank. He heated up. He first of all he bought a big cone of roofing tar. Comes as a hard plastic almost material that you have to chip away. He put it in a lead melting kiln and put, I got to remember this. He put a mineral in it that softened it. And it was a mineral that's used and sold as a wood tonic for wood floors. God. Mm, I'll have to remember it. I can't remember it. But anyway, he put some of that in there to so that when it hardened, it would harden in a more plastic fashion rather than in a rigid, hard fashion. It'll come to me. He then he then chipped out all the old tar with a hammer and chisel, stood the tank on edge at about a 45-degree angle, and poured the tar in. Let's see, he stood it on a corner, stood it on a corner, no, on two corners. He stood it on edge for each edge. The one, two, three, four edges, four bottom edges, and then one, two, three, four side edges. So he made 6 turns with this and poured the tar in each of those um, edges, corners, not just the corner, but the whole seam. Poured in the seam, let it sit for long enough for it to cool, did the next seam. So it took all day basically to do one tank. And that was the system. That's how you saved a, a tar based, a black tar based tank, a metal tank. Pretty involved process. Let's see, what's next here? Back and Dan. Bang, whoops. Fish tropic. Okay. We got a mineral grow, we did that. Drake white, we did that. Home Depot for window tinting for the arc. I assume you're talking about the tinting on the outside of the glass on the back. Fish tropic pragmatic. I lost track of something in there. I was thinking about this the other day. Um, I'll bring it up in a minute. Here we do. Punchy paints. I thought you were a mod. You are now. I guess you were and you changed your name. Maybe that made a difference. I think I'm at the bottom. Joby, Carl's talking to Joby, 3/4 inches, so 1.5%. Yeah, not bad. Right. Could use even a little less soil, but 3/4 would be good. Thank you, Punchy. Okay, here's what I was thinking about. Pam gave up on the fish keeper, Alice K says. Oh, did you really? Huh. Well, her painting is something that she stars at, so that's a good thing. No, you didn't. Ha! Take up for yourself, Punchy. Good. Caleb, multi-stream tonight. I'll see if I can get on. Oh, many different streams. I tried to get on last night with Blackie, and it just didn't work out. But I took my computer home so I could do it. Recons lurking, uploading videos. Lots of updates incoming. Congrats on the monetization. Thank you, Recon. Here's what I was thinking about. The conversation that goes on the sidebar here is of inestimable value to its participants, but I think it slows down the streamer. Now, for this kind of thing, it's perfectly effective because it just is up to me to keep up. But if there are 3 or 4 people, or even a group, which is what I've been thinking about doing, then we can have somebody monitoring the stream and raising issues to the live participants. But it's real difficult to go to try to track this and have a conversation with 2 or 3 other people. So what I'm working on for my Sunday is not just an open forum, but an open shop, and invite people to come in and participate in the stream live. We'll need to do that in a different format so we can make it happen. And I probably will need to have a second camera, which I'm not convinced I figured out how to set up yet. But I'm looking at ways of kind of expanding the concept here. so that we can just make it more interesting, get more people involved. Pam has rice fish. I love rice fish. Aquaballs just spread the new koi betta from Vietnam to a half moon. Nice. I love bettas. I love breeding bettas. Why can't Joel JC? Why can't I super chat? Don't know. Recons. Carl says how to recons. Fisherman says yes and yes. And I do too. Oops. Somebody heard. I'm on a main drag here. The emergency vehicles go by all day long. Keller's Aquatics Recon. Great vid yesterday. Punchy paints. The coffee needs me. Yeah, me too. I got a little bit here, but I'm sure it's cold. But it's alive. Think Bob work is firing back up. This recon. Yeah, there's that. Recon's pumping a bunch of videos out. Yeah, silly saying my first guy should be a tech that'll help me set it up. That's a really good idea. Precious has been trying to get me to work with Chewy. Is it Chewy? Um, Caleb? No, I don't remember. Did it get approved for monetization? I will after today, Punchy. I'm at 3950 hours. I've been averaging about 100 hours a day. So this video right here will put me over. So I'm excited about that. Did you ever get your monetization straightened out, Punchy? Ooh, still trying well. That's nuts. I assume monetization can take a while just in terms of them authenticating it. Um, I've heard that takes 2 weeks to a month once you hit the goal before you finally get monetized. And I guess it can take longer. Would I consider 5 millimeter gravel? Yeah, but you want to make it about 4 inches deep. It needs to be deep. The whole concept of the sand, which is 0.2 millimeters or finer, is that it slows down the flow of water going through it. You don't want it flushing. You want it very slowly going through, kind of trickling through. It really, according to uh, Diana Wallstead, it goes through at the rate that the bacteria and other flagellate animals are pulsing it through. So it's actually moving through um, kind of dynamically or biologically by virtue of the animals living in it. There are a number of animals living in that substrate that fluctuate between the anaerobic and the aerobic. They're moving like this between the two. They sense the presence of oxygen or the lack of it, and they'll go back up and then dip down for nutrients, go back up for oxygen. And that action moves the water. There are others higher up. The bacteria have, they don't have flagellates, they have they're not cilia either, but I can't remember, little extensions that like a flagellate that move the water. Um, all of the microscopic animal like that do. The single cell animals like paramecium, their cilia are moving water. Fish farm got a weak monetization. Yeah, I got a message from YouTube yesterday saying that because there are a lot of people monetizing right now, that it slowed down the process somewhat. So probably it depends on when you're able to do it as to how quickly it takes based on the ability of the YouTube bureaucracy to process it. Fish Room Fever wants Pam to give him her people since she ain't going to use them. You probably already have them, or at least some of them. That's the joy of this. We share and share alike. Let's see. Cody's sons, the fish barn got it in a week. We did that. Oh, you were monetized. Oh, that's odd. Punchy saying it took 3 days. And then 3 days later it ended. That's very strange. Having trouble with the streaming from my phone. Yeah, I'm not using a phone. That might make a difference, I guess. Huh. Punchy says I was monetized and then I hit buttons. Yeah, I get that. Gotta watch those buttons. That's not just bacteria. That's uh, uh, um, Rohan. That's single-celled animals, microscopic life, even things like worms. They actually they have a gene that detects the presence of oxygen, and it causes them to rise up toward it if it's depleted. So Punchy's claiming she unmonetized herself. It's very generous of you. Let's see. Freshwater does have live sand. Well, it absolutely does, Carl. Absolutely. I did a video um, on that very issue, on the the biology of the deep substrate. Silly Susie was signed up to Patreon and is now not. Do I need to redo it every month? Should not need to. It's possible that you didn't set up the payment schedule properly, and they sent out a payment and it wasn't on it, and so didn't come through. Punchy wants Bob to do a live stream. I think my biggest problem right now is figuring out how to do everything. There's something else I wanted to mention. Jay Funk, who a lot of us have are trying to help with his move, lives here in Tampa, and I invited him to speak to our Venice Club, which he's going to do this third week in February. As a topic, he's going to talk about uh, a growing linkage between fish clubs, YouTube, and conferences. Well, they're back. What now?
I don't have any fish in my hand. That's good, right?
Yeah, well, that's a move in the right direction.
Everything's good on my tank.
All right. Thank God for that. See if I can sell a few. Anyway, the whole idea is to find ways to link what's happening with YouTube, and his particular goal is interesting. Um, he was saying he would like to find a way to get some of the guys who are really very sophisticated in this hobby to set up YouTube channels. Now, some have. There are a couple of guys on here now who are amazing. It's enormously effective. Um, but there are a lot of guys out there who have been doing fish for 50 years and more. And when they're gone, unless they've got somebody they've been training, all that they know is gone. I'm going to start doing, or my goal is to start doing interviews, regular interviews with people who've been around a while. I'm going to be starting with members of my own club. I've got 7 very solid, strong fish rooms among the members of my club. So I want to get them and get in there and look at them and talk to them and see if we can begin documenting some of this stuff. Anyway, I'm real excited about Jay coming out and talking about this. I think it'll be a really good program. And I was, we were talking about tech earlier. I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could do a live broadcast at the club meeting and have on the big screen in the front the um, the the running commentary, the chat, so that everybody sitting there could be reading it, and it would give us a joint kind of a participation, and then someone with a camera being able to get people in the audience to ask questions that everybody could participate in. Um, I don't know if I could do it, but we'll see. A goal to work toward. I just need a whole lot more savvy, and we don't have anybody in our club who is really computer savvy. So it kind of puts some limits on what we're able to do. So backing up a little bit. Crystal needs watch hours. The uh, the live chats are a good source of hours. I'm averaging 100 hours per live chat. I'm averaging 100 hours per day simply by having a lot of videos up there and having them in formats that cause people to watch 2 or 3 at a time. So you can do it. I've got 85 videos right now, of which probably 40 are worth watching. But those 40, you're getting a lot of activity. Silly, yeah, just sign up again, silly. Dooby dooby doo. Big Eyes is here. Hello, Big Eyes. We're at 36 people on board. Yeah, YouTube really is, Caleb, a tremendously valuable resource that's grossly underused by the people who can most not benefit from it, because a lot of people are benefiting from it, but people who can use it to get their story out, to get their expertise in the mix. That's always been the problem in this hobby. People are doing things. This hobby is a hermit's hobby. We all do it pretty much in isolation. When we're down there messing around with our fish tanks, rarely is there anybody else around. We're in our own little world or worlds, and 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 we discover things and do things that are really exciting and want to be able to share them. So we have opportunities like this, like fish clubs, like friends getting together and talking fish. But YouTube's a unique opportunity to be able to do more in that respect. I think one of the things that I thought about doing early on was an open forum 24/7 live stream that would function as a question answer stream. Um, it probably would pay for itself, so we could afford to pay mods to monitor it. But it could be an open forum resource, which is one of the things that's lacking in this format that is available to a little better degree in Facebook, a little better than that degree in 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 Twitter and some of the other chat forums. But I think we could figure out a way to use this forum better to be able to create that kind of opportunity. Document our own histories. Yeah, Carrie, exactly right. Exactly right. Let's see. Precious likes the idea. The best live food for Corey Fry. Best live food for Corey Fry. Probably microworm. You can chop up flatworm if they're big enough to handle it, but microworm culture will go to the bottom, and the baby Corys will pick it up. There are so many very high quality powder foods available today that you really can do commercial products. That's one of the things I want to get in the line. A lot of these commercial products are phenomenally expensive. The stuff from Japan runs about $100 for a kilo. It's about $50 a pound. I'm going to repackage it because it's very fine and very dense and goes a long way. I want to repackage it in like a $10 container that'll allow you to feed an entire population of baby fish, probably several of them as they're coming up. I just need the time to do this and figure out a way to get it done. I think things are coming to a head though. Pretty soon, there are going to be some bigger changes here. I did a video last October talking about just that, talking about changes. Hadn't really happened yet, but there's increasing pressure to get more involved with this, and pressure in terms of really lowering sales in my shop. Um, Doing online sales would be an enormous boon. I just need to make that happen. And I guess I'm overwhelmed. I don't know. Close friends I tend to keep things to myself. People keep fishing here and suddenly they're experts. This is Kaler talking, criticizing and judging things that lifelong hobbyists share. Not worth the drama. Yeah, I picked that up, and there are a lot of ways in which that's an issue, Kaler. Um, I think the biggest concern for me, I think it's one I'm learning to overcome, is the YouTubers who have got 50,000 and more subscribers really don't have a clue about keeping fish and are putting themselves out as experts. I think that's the real problem. And it seems to me the only way to counteract that is for people who do know what they're doing to build channels, to provide an alternative to that. And I think in time that works because in time, just the flow of ideas and sharing ideas is going to sift down and cause a shifting of the balance, cause people are genuinely looking for meaningful help and ideas to find a source where they really can get it and then stick with it. Right now, people are sticking with what's available. And while it's getting better, substantially better, it hasn't made the transition yet. I'm excited to be a part of that transition. And I trust a small part. There's so many people in this hobby and in this field who are so vastly more knowledgeable than I am. I'm just really anxious to get them involved in some way and get their story up, get their expertise in the mix so that we really can have the kind of resource that gives people the chance to be able to keep fish alive and healthy and happy and flourishing and protecting species and doing more to to share really worthwhile ideas. So yeah, while I don't disagree with you, Keller, not at all. I simply think we need to overcome it with what we've got, which is experience, stuff that works. Carl says old school knowledge. Yeah, that's part of it. It's not all of it, but it's probably 90% of it. Certainly is part of it. Fish streams, 5 of my tanks just got a deeper sand bed upgrade. All right, add an inch, add an inch, add an inch. Rohan, I have 9 2-year-old bronze cories and their children. How nice. That's great. Cories are such an easy fish to spawn, and they're such a pleasure to have swimming around in schools. They are a delight, and Alice loves them. Never claimed to be a recon, never claimed to be an expert fish keeper, no matter how long. There's always something else to learn. Well, the experts are the people who, how do we put this gently? It's a very subjective term. There have been attempts to certify expertise. I think I had a discussion a while back, no names and no places, but it was a young man who was going on about how he had been certified by his master breeder, and he had been around for 5 years, and he knew what he was doing because he was certified, and he didn't have a clue what substrate was about. A clue. So there's an expert, certified expert. I really didn't know how to keep fish much. Secret behind breeding Corys. William says the Cory breeders in my club in my shop say that the secret to breeding Corys is live food, blackworm. They swear by it, that it eggs up the females, and once the females are egged up, they become irresistible. You can do things like water changes, change temperature up or down a little bit, but basically getting the female egged up is really the key. Precious solution for any problem. Add an inch of sand. Yeah, more or less. Let's see, did I lose something back here? Aquarium Cowboy. Oh dear, we're getting into deep water here. So, Aquarium Cowboy, knowledgeable people who don't have enough subscribers. Well, the issue is you got to work at it. You got to crank it out. You got to do videos. And that's kind of the dirty little secret is the more you do videos, the more views you're going to get, and the more hours, the more successful. I got some guys here I'm going to need to cut over to in a minute. Let's see. Solution for any problem. We did that. Joel Jay-Z. Stop watching Corey. Also Pam. Also Pam. Fish keeping is a learning experience. For sure. You bet. I'm not going to say anything negative about Corey. It would be insane for me to do so. But Corey has certain strengths, and there's strengths that I think nobody else in the fish fam on YouTube has. And one of them is he's an absolute marketing genius. He could sell anything to anybody and be effective and make money at it. And that's all I got to say about that. So many good channels that get like 4 views per video. Well, I'll tell you what, the reality is I spent 2 months bouncing along the bottom here, doing like, I had 50 subscribers after 2 months. And I didn't feel like I was ever going to get anywhere. I was struggling to figure out how to do anything. And then Lucas found me and he introduced me to his group. And within 24 hours, I had 300 subscribers. And that kicked it off. I've not been inclining since then, but I've been moving very steady. Of his 40,000, I'm sure 4,000 have looked at me and 1,000 decided to sign up. So the reality is, when you get there, you got to reach down and pull up the guy below you who you really believe in. And I'm doing that now as much as I can and looking for a hand up while I'm at it. But I'm not asking anybody. I'm not asking anybody. If what I'm saying reaches somebody and they want to be able to help, I certainly will accept that support. But I'm not going to go into somebody's thread on somebody's video and ask them to take a look at my videos and help me if they can. My work needs to stand on its own 2 feet. Okay, I'm going to take a break here. Let you guys go for a bit. What time is it? 3:02. We've been here for an hour. Let's see how we're doing. 38 watch. We're not going to kick it over 50 today. Punchy said she was not talking about Corey. Nor should you be. Nor should I be. K.O. Cichlid. is wants to join the ferry club, I guess. All right, let me run down here. Yeah, the police, right? Saltwater's the worst of it. Absolute worst. The saltwater police are intolerable, particularly the coral police. My God. Joe, people are coming to me. Thank you, Precious. You know, Caleb, that's a really good point. Corey makes an effort to provide a broad base of information about every aspect of the hobby, particularly all of the equipment and all of the main issues. And he tries to do a broad base so that he's not settling on any one viewpoint or any one way of doing things. And that's very much to his credit and very much of benefit to the hobby. Chewy is here. I need to get together with you, Chewy. I am going to run now. I'm going to go because I got a customer here who's looking at my 2,000-gallon tank, and our hour is up. Um, and I've got 41 watching, so we've done probably 25 hours, and I only need 50. And I've got a new video already out, so I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna do my 50 today. If I hit 4,000 tonight, I will do a quickie uh, stream tomorrow and announce saying, I know it did. Jack and Dan, I know it did. Thank you so much. You, it was fun. That was an eventful day. That was a wonderful day. Big channel shouts out over the small one. Yeah, sure enough, Caleb. Kaler, sure enough. Thank you very much, Recon. Take care, everyone. See you later in the week. I'll be here Sunday afternoon. Eventually, I'll be able to do something cool here. But this is always fun, and it's good having the conversation. Take care, guys. Love you all. All right, I'm coming.